In 2025, more millionaires are fleeing wealthy nations than ever before, and the countries losing them most are some of the richest in the world. We're talking about France losing over 42,000 millionaires in the last 5 years. The United Kingdom experiencing its fastest wealth exodus in a decade, and even traditionally stable economies like Germany and Canada facing unprecedented capital flight. But here's what most people miss. This isn't random. There's a pattern. And when you understand these patterns, you can see economic trouble coming before the headlines catch up. I'm breaking down exactly where millionaires are leaving, why they're leaving, and where their money is actually going. Because the wealthy don't flee without reason. They're reading signals the rest of us ignore. Let's start with the shocking numbers. France is the poster child for wealth exodus. Since 2019, approximately 42,000 millionaires have left France. That's not a typo. In 2023 alone, France saw a net loss of 5,700 high-net-worth individuals. Meanwhile, France's ultra-wealthy population, people with net worth over $30 million, dropped by 23% in just 3 years. Why? The top tax rate in France hits 45%, plus additional social contributions that can push effective rates above 50%. Add in wealth taxes on certain assets, and you're looking at a system that genuinely punishes success. The wealthy aren't making an ideological statement. They're doing math. But France isn't alone. The United Kingdom is losing wealth faster than expected. Between 2022 and 2024, over 9,400 millionaires emigrated from the UK. That represents a 28% increase in millionaire emigration compared to the previous 3 years. London has been the global wealth capital for centuries, but that status is slipping. The culprit? A combination of factors: inheritance tax at 40% on estates over £325,000, capital gains tax increases, energy costs that are among Europe's highest, and perhaps most damaging, a sense that the UK is falling behind economically relative to other developed nations. When wealthy people perceive decline, they don't wait for recovery, they reallocate. Canada is experiencing something even more dramatic in percentage terms. Immigration to Canada has slowed significantly, but emigration of wealthy Canadians has accelerated. A 2024 survey found that 23% of Canadian millionaires are actively considering leaving. The primary reasons: provincial and federal tax rates reaching 54% on top earners, plus increasing capital gains taxation that's now at 66% inclusion rates. That's a wealth trap. And wealth doesn't stay trapped. But it's not just about tax rates. That's too simplistic. The second warning sign is economic stagnation masked by official statistics. Germany's wealth migration is a perfect case study. Germany is losing millionaires not because of taxes alone. German rates are actually comparable to other developed nations, but because of genuine economic deterioration. Manufacturing competitiveness declining, energy costs from their green transition creating industrial disadvantage, population aging without immigration replacing the lost workforce. Wealthy Germans see this. They're not moving for the sake of moving. They're redeploying capital to economies with stronger growth prospects. That's the real warning sign. When wealth leaves stable economies, it's because the stability is illusory. Australia presents an interesting case. While Australia hasn't seen massive absolute numbers of millionaires leaving, the trend is accelerating. Australian millionaires are increasingly relocating to Singapore, Dubai, and New Zealand. The reason? Perceived regulatory overreach, property market saturation, and concerns about long-term policy direction. It's a leading indicator. The wealthy always move first. So where is the money actually going? This is where the data gets revealing. UAE, specifically Dubai and Abu Dhabi, is the primary destination. Dubai has attracted an estimated 1.2 million millionaires in the last 5 years. Why? Zero personal income tax, business-friendly regulation, political stability, and a clear signal that wealth is welcome. Singapore is the second major hub. Singapore offers 15% corporate tax, relatively low personal rates, and crucially, a perception of being economically dynamic. Millionaires from Australia, Malaysia, Hong Kong, and even the UK are consolidating assets in Singapore. Switzerland remains strong, but is changing. Switzerland has traditionally been the wealth center, but it's competing harder. Some cantons are losing ground to more aggressive wealth recruitment by competitors. This is crucial. When traditional wealth centers start losing market share, it signals a structural shift. Portugal and Malta are emerging dark horses. Both offer non-habitual resident programs with favorable tax treatment. Portugal saw a 17% increase in millionaire arrivals in 2023. These countries are essentially running wealth acquisition campaigns, and it's working. Mexico, specifically areas like Mexico City and Monterrey, are attracting North American wealth through lower costs and business opportunity. Costa Rica and Panama are seeing similar flows from Central and South American wealthy individuals. Here's what you need to understand. Millionaires are not fleeing for lifestyle reasons. They're not leaving because the weather is bad or the food is different. They're leaving because they're reading economic signals that governments often ignore. When wealth leaves an economy, it's a warning light that says, this system is becoming uncompetitive. France's wealth exodus preceded slower GDP growth and persistent unemployment challenges. The UK's millionaire flight is preceding reduced global economic influence. Canada's millionaire concerns are emerging as productivity stalls. It's not that taxes directly cause economic decline. It's that high taxes combined with declining competitiveness create an unsustainable situation. The wealthy are just the first to notice and act. So what are the actual warning signs to watch for? First, millionaire emigration rates accelerating year over year. When the outflow is increasing, not just steady, it indicates spreading concern, not just individual decisions. Second, the type of millionaires leaving. If young entrepreneurs are leaving, that's worse than if retirees are leaving. Brain drain is devastating. If France is losing successful business owners to Dubai and Singapore, that's a loss of future economic generation, not just current wealth. Third, asset reallocation patterns. When millionaires keep legal residency but move their businesses and investments elsewhere, it's a precursor to eventual physical relocation. Fourth, policy responses. Are governments adjusting policy to be more competitive, or are they doubling down on extraction? Countries that raise taxes further in response to wealthy emigration are accelerating the exodus. Fifth, comparative narrative shift. When the wealthy in one country start talking about another country with genuine envy, migration is coming. The larger implication is this. Wealth migration is a market signal about economic viability. When capital votes with its feet, it's revealing information about which systems are sustainable and which are not. In 2025, we're watching a real-time test of which models work. High-tax, high-regulation economies like France and parts of Canada are declining in relative wealth. Low-tax, business-friendly jurisdictions like UAE and Singapore are rising. This isn't ideology, it's incentive structure. What's particularly important for you to understand? These patterns precede broader economic shifts. The countries losing wealthy people today